Hey everyone, I wanted to talk you through some of my favorite plants of the year. I want to talk a little bit about winter color and all the abundance and beautiful plants that are available at this time of year. I thought what I'd like to do is just kind of walk you around the nursery and share some of the plants we have in right now, because this is an awesome time of year to plant. At this time of year in my garden, I do a lot of trimming and cleaning and raking and pruning. I tend to go back pretty hard in my garden. I trim all my perennials. I'll do some limbing up of my my shrubs and trees, clear things out. I also will go through and mulch. I'll use low number organic fertilizers throughout the garden. I'm going to share that information with you as well. But at this time of year, the nursery is packed with some of the most beautiful plants that are available all year. We have gorgeous, gorgeous pansies and violas. They thrive if you plant them at this time of year. If you plant these guys at this time of year, it's not unforeseen for these guys to go through to June or July before they start to peter out. And even then, sometimes it's kind of a question as to whether you should take them out. They do very well in pots, and they do great in the ground. First of all, I just want to give a shout out to pansies in particular. They're one of my favorites. They are just absolutely gorgeous. They look like hand-painted watercolors. One of the most beautiful plants out there, I think. Of course, when you plant them, it is wise, I'm going to pull this one out, it's wise to plant them slightly above the soil level. Now this is specific to this family of plants in particular. That's not usually the case, but pansies and violas are particularly subject to crown rot. So I learned long ago that it's good to plant them a little bit higher than most plants. So when I put them in the ground, I'll leave a little bit of their roots sticking up, protruding, and that really helps to prevent crown rot. The other thing is I would highly recommend something to treat sow bugs and earwigs. I like Sluggo Plus, that's what we use. It is relatively non-toxic and it is extremely effective. So I wanted to also, just while we're on the pansy table, if you take a look at this table, you see we just have an amazing array of colors. Beautiful, beautiful plants. These absolutely adore violas. This is a particularly beautiful one. They're incredibly fragrant, especially yellow. It's a beautiful, beautiful plant in the garden. Wonderful to plant. Keep it close to where you might be sitting out on a patio. This particular variety right here, I've planted for many, many years. It's absolutely one of my all-time favorites. It's called Ultimorph. It's a series of violas, and violas basically need slightly less deadheading than pansies, and I believe they're much more vigorous in our climate. Love pansies, I plant pansies as well, but I really go after the violas. Ultimorph is a gorgeous plant, very, very tough, vigorous variety. Have excellent luck with it. Let's cruise around, look at some other things we've got in stock. Good old sweet alyssum, beautiful color, incredibly fragrant, a fabulous plant for pollinators. Bees at the nursery, bees are on this guy almost to the point where I almost worry that, you know, if some customer was to pick them up, there's so many bees cruising around on these plants, it kind of worries me. But that's just because they have so much pollen. They're so incredibly fragrant. Even in the shade right now, the aroma is just awesome. Also, lobelia. Lobelia is a fabulous plant to add into any of your pots or window boxes. This is a particularly beautiful, beautiful variety. Full sun, full shade, does like water. We sell the heck out of this plant. This is good old Crystal Palace lobelia. Beautiful bronze foliage and an absolutely stunning, brilliant, brilliant cobalt blue flower. One of the best. We could sell, we have a table where we try to specialize in lobelia because people love it so much. We get requests every day. And then let's go over here. Another super easy and very predictable plant in the garden, has a fabulous aroma, is Sweet Williams. We have lots of Dianthus. We have annual varieties of Dianthus. We have Dianthus that look like traditional carnations, and they have incredible cinnamon aroma. They're tough, easy, versatile plants. They can take full sun, and they can also take a little bit of shade. They thrive in pots as well. We also have stock stalk is part of the same family of plants as kale and broccoli. Believe it or not, it has absolutely the most incredible aroma, the most sweet, intoxicating fragrance that you could possibly put in your garden. It is just perfume in the garden. And it does very well if planted at this time of year. Later in the year, I don't advise it, but when it's cool, when we have winter rains coming, it's a fabulous plant. When you trim all your perennials back and you cut things down, you get rid of all the detritus, you kind of clear out some of the spent foliage and the branches from last year, and then you start to put down your mulch. This is a wonderful plant to pop in to just fill in those empty spaces that you create. And then when it peters out, pull it out, your perennials will take off. This is another plant, foxglove. If you plant foxglove at this time of year, it will bloom beautifully. This is a hard variety to find, and I am delighted to see that one of our local growers is actually bringing this in. This is the Excelsior variety, and I have to tell you, this is a very special plant. I love foxglove, and the one that's most common on the market is called Foxy, and that gets to be about, I'd say, 4 feet high. Excelsior, I have had in my garden. I have measured it at 7 feet tall. I am not exaggerating. Excelsior is a super tall variety, and it is spectacular. It is these massive spires of gorgeous, gorgeous flowers, and bees are just so attracted to it. And it's so fun because I noticed in particular bumblebees seem to love foxglove, and it really defines my garden in spring. It's one of those things that just makes my garden is foxglove. Love foxglove. An Excelsior variety, I highly recommend it. Anemones, another fabulous plant to plant at this time of year. You can buy bulbs, or corms, actually what they're called, or you can buy the plants. I recommend the plants because I've had trouble getting the actual bulbs to start properly. Sometimes I guess I soak them too much. I've had them rot. It's been kind of hit or miss. But when I buy a plant that's already started, you can see look at the lush foliage. So I'm halfway there. This is a red variety that's very beautiful, gives a lot of pop in the garden. This is a beautiful annual plant that is actually, I guess you could describe it as a wild snapdragon. It has kind of its common name is toadflax. So, but it's really beautiful. It's a delightful plant. It's Linaria Northern Lights is the much more, pleasant variety, way to call it. But it's a beautiful plant in the garden. It will reseed and come up next year. It's absolutely beautiful, very charming. Good time to plant things like, okay, drawing a blank. Armeria is a tough plant, does really, really well. We have a mixed color and we have an all white, which is beautiful for white gardens. Armeria is actually, I believe, a hardy perennial, and it is also a plant that thrives by the ocean front. In terms of deer resistance, a lot of these plants are things I would have to be very honest that they're not all that deer resistant. But foxglove, that's definitely deer resistant. Armeria, I've had pretty good luck with the deer staying away from Armeria as well. Moving kind of throughout our color tables here at the nursery, another great one at this time of year is Calendula. Calendulas, if they're planted at this time of year, they'll go way into the summer. And they are absolutely beautiful. A lot of times they'll set seeds and they'll reseed and come up in your garden throughout the year. Wonderful, absolutely beautiful. Again, favorite of bees. Then there's a lot of perennials out on the tables as well. This is a great time to find really good values on perennials. Check this out. This is a beautiful variety. This is Spice Island Spice Island rosemary. This is 6 little plants for $4. That is an awesome value. You could make yourself a hedge out of that. This is the time of year to find plants small and really save some money. Here's another tried and true perennial along the coast. This is Limonium parisii status, and it is a great drought tolerant, full sun, right on the ocean, easy plant to grow, very, very versatile. Let's kind of cruise down here, talk a little bit about some of the other things that are available. Of course, this is the time of year to plant Snapdragons, which are amazing. This table, as I'm looking at it, is just covered with bees. Absolutely beautiful, covered with bees. This beautiful orange one is just a fabulous low-growing variety that's very prolific, hugs the ground. It's called Snapshot, I believe. Let me get that right. Snapshot orange. This is a series of low-growing plants that stay really, really blooming almost constantly. Some of the other things you can plant at this time of year, this is Bellis. This is an English daisy. These are very storybook plants. Absolutely beautiful. They look beautiful in shade or sun, and they work well in pots. One of my favorites. Of course, we have ornamental kale. I love kale. But look how beautiful that is. It looks like a flower, but it's actually a vegetable. Some of the other tried and true varieties. At this time of year, Iceland poppies. I have to have Iceland poppies. I plant Iceland poppies every year. If you plant them now, they'll go way into the 1st of June. And within weeks, these things will spike and be just a wall of color. Absolutely beautiful. Again, a favorite of bees. Beautiful plant in the garden at this time of year. Let's take a look at some other plants. This is a wonderful plant. I call these guys, I call plants that fall into this category in my mind, I call them perennials because they're not really technically a perennial, but they can last for years. This is osteospermum. This one is called 4D Violet Ice, and I just absolutely love the color of this. This is just a really intriguing kind of flower, unlike most things you see in the garden. Really beautiful. And if planted at this time of year, they will thrive for a couple of years in a row. So they tend to hang in there very well. And they come in a lot of different colors. They come in purples, pinks, whites, doubles, oranges, peaches. We'll be getting more and more osteospermums in. They do fabulous at this time of year. I want to point out California poppies. So I've experienced a lot of trouble planting California poppies by seed. I don't really know why. Maybe the birds just really go for it, but I've tried and tried for years to do everything right. Cover the seeds, watch the seeds, put down netting. They just don't come up. So I don't ever use seeds when I want to have a display of California poppies. I plant 6-packs. At this time of year, you can find fabulous California poppies, several different varieties, colors, shapes, different heights. This is a beautiful, very traditional orange king, and that is how I get California poppies going in projects that I'm doing. So highly recommend very young, fresh plants that have come in. We have a large selection, and they go really fast. California poppies, everybody loves to plant them. We get requests all the time, so we're so happy to have them in. Highly recommend that this is the way to plant your California poppies. I wanted to also share a couple products that I really feel strongly about. At this time of year, I really like to use something to mulch my garden. I will use wood chips, but in my flower beds, I will really prefer this product right here. This product is a soil conditioner, so you can use it to plant with. It's a versatile product to have, you know, in your garden shed because it can serve many purposes. It can go into the soil when you're planting to loosen the soil, but it's an ideal mulch. It's a fabulous seed cover. It's great for lawns if you're going to do reseeding, if you're going to throw out wildflowers. This is a fabulous product to use. I also, let me just show it to you. So this stuff is fine, and it's also, I want to say, it's actually pretty good value. It's a very, very large, heavily compacted bag, so the value on this is outstanding. And I love this stuff. I always have it on hand for multiple purposes. I mix it into to vegetable beds as well. But I like to mulch deeply at this time of year. And then again, I'll use this same product in about August when it starts to get really bone dry. Whoops. Another product I feel really strongly about is Grow Power Plus. I've used this product for years. It's humectic acid. It's a low number fertilizer. I never have any problem burning plants. It is an outstanding product. It's good for everything. It is good for succulents. It is good for trees. It's good for shrubs, ground covers, annuals. It is a fabulous, fabulous product. This is my favorite fertilizer that we have here at the nursery, and I have used it for many years. I feel really confident recommending it to you. Thanks for letting me share my enthusiasm for winter color and annuals with you, and love to have you come down. We have an amazing selection right now. Love to see you guys. Thanks so much.